blast. Teenage dreams and neon screens. It was all rad, you know what I mean. Like, you know, it's like whatever, together forever. We're never gonna sever. Laughing and sharing our stories clever. We'll take you back. It's like whatever.
Welcome to Like Whatever, a podcast for, by, and about Gen X. I'm Nicole, and this is my BFFF, Heather.
Hello.
So, how was your week?
I was better. We're moving up.
Good.
Getting better.
Good. Glad to hear
I'm
it.
not going to talk about it, but yeah, it's getting better.
Yep. Good.
For all you ladies that are in your 50s, this is just getting old real quick. I'm hot one second, I'm freezing cold the next. I can't take it.
I've been having some really gnarly hot flashes the past few days.
This last week, the hot flashes have been brutal. I have just been the most angry person on the face of the earth. I mean, just like literally for any reason. I mean, normally I'm an angry person, but it's like heightened to the nth degree this week. Yeah.
It sounds difficult for you.
It is. I try when I'm out in public to contain it.
Yeah.
That's not working out very well.
Well, some people are just asking for it.
You know what? Most people are just asking for it. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, we have a new pope since our last recording.
We do have a new pope. He's a Chicago pope.
He is the Chicago
The first American pope. That's crazy, right? He was not in any of the running that we had. None of the numbers.
It is the craziest thing to hear him speak with an American accent.
I have not heard him speak, but I can imagine
it's really weird.
it's crazy. He seems like he's going to be an okay guy.
Yeah, I mean, he seems very, very loved. And, I mean, all his friends call him Bob. Like, come on.
It seems like that's the direction the Catholic Church has decided to take because it was only, 4? They only did 4 votes. So,
yeah,
obviously, I think he's a little bit more open-minded as the Catholic Church goes.
Right.
As open-minded as you can
as
get
a pope
being
will
pope.
Get. Yeah.
So, I guess
and it's been cool seeing the coverage of, like, his brothers. Like, here, it's just so crazy for them.
It has to be crazy, right?
Yeah. I was watching something at the news last night or the night before, and they were, some newscasters were interviewing one of the brothers, and while they were interviewing him, the Pope called his brother, like FaceTimed him on his tablet. So the brother answered, and the Pope said hi to him, and he was like, "Just so you know, we're being filmed right now. I have a news crew here," and he is like, the Pope goes like, "Right now." I told my husband, I was like, thank God he didn't answer the phone with like, "Hey, motherfucker, what's up? I'm the motherfucking Pope."
I know, right? Like, that would be crazy. Like, if it was your sibling or whatever, you could just be like,
right?
Well, I guess I'm going to heaven because.
Yeah, I would not answer my sibling's phone call while being filmed.
No. No.
Never know what's going to come out of her mouth.
So yeah, that was cool. That was definitely out of nowhere, out of left field.
And I love how everybody's claiming him. Like Pennsylvania's claiming him.
I saw one
Illinois
meme
is claiming
that
him.
was like, as soon as the Pope says "Go Birds," I'm gonna start going back to church.
Yes. Especially if it works.
Yeah. I don't think he's probably an Eagles fan. I think he's probably the Bears.
Yeah, he is a White Sox fan, so
probably the Bears probably could use all the help they can get.
Yes.
So hey, maybe it's their year. Maybe they got the Pope, and hey,
man, we play the Bears one.
It's great.
I know.
They're gonna have a crazy season. It's gonna be like, you think the Immaculate Reception was impressive? Just wait.
They use that word a little prematurely.
We really are gonna have an immaculate.
I watched a good Netflix series.
Yeah.
Since I like to share all
Yes.
my lazy time
Yes.
watching shows. But it's 4 seasons. It is based on the movie Four Seasons, if you'll remember, with Alan Alda.
It's funny that you say that because that was just on it popped up on our TV and we couldn't remember it, but it's Carol Burnett, right?
I believe so. So this show is, Alan Alda's involved in it somehow, with production or something. I don't know. Tina Fey's in it. Steve Carell. There's a lot of good people in it, but it was excellent. It's really definitely a Gen X type show, because it's people our age and where they're at with their relationships and their marriages and their kids. And
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. And it was neat. But my husband and I were cracking up the whole time because the one couple is just us, like 1,000,000%. Like, I'm watching it like, I really need this couple to make it to the end, like still be good at the end, because I'm connecting too hard. I mean, there were moments we had to pause it and laugh because it was just so us. So yeah, I would highly recommend it, but it also was kind of disheartening because my relationship is so stereotypical that it's in a TV show script.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it's not. But when you're feeling your feelings and you're angry, you're like, you're the worst. But no, it's just how everybody is.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? At least you don't have crazy on your side. So. Because you used to. The only fun and exciting thing I found is the other night. I don't know if it popped up on the Facebook or what, but it is Star Trek spirits, wine and spirits. And I needed them all. And I don't drink that much. I drink, literally the only time I drink is when I do my shots of Fireball right before we record. That is literally the only time. But they have Romulan ale, it's vodka, and it's blue, and I need it. And they have Klingon blood wine, and I don't like I think it was a cab. I don't like red wine at all, but I need it because it says Klingon blood wine. And they have Chateau Picard. It was $22.41, and I forget the other one, what the other year was, but I needed them all. And the bottles are beautiful.
Well, you would definitely drink the vodka.
I would. Yes.
It is your drink of choice.
It is my drink of choice. Blue vodka in particular. It's lovely. But yeah, I need it. But it's expensive, so to hold off. Wait till I get. So y'all gotta make us famous so I can buy Romulan ale because it is illegal.
Yeah, I went to a Edgar Allan Poe speakeasy.
Oh, that's right, you were saying before.
On Friday night.
How'd that go?
Well, first of all, it didn't start till 10 o'clock,
That's
and
too late.
I am proud to say that me and my friend made it. Like,
That's too late.
Yeah, drove home safe and everything.
That's too late. It's 2 hours, right?
So it's a traveling circus kind of thing. It's just 5 people. There were 4 men and 1 girl, and they're all probably mid-20s, I would guess. And they do everything. So this one was held in like a kind of a wedding venue with a barn. So they set up the barn, and that's where the show was. So they had different tables with like baby dolls and Edgar Allan Poe stuff, and they had this really old looking paper and a feather pen for everybody to sign in when they came in, but it wasn't like orderly in a book. It was just random sheets of paper, and everybody was just writing stuff. And all the lighting was cool, purple and green and blue and red, and then so they set all that up, and you come in and they did 4 readings, dramatic readings.
Sure.
And each reading had its own drink that went with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So they would come out, serve the cocktails, go in the back. Somebody would come up, do the little intro for what was coming up, and then
Quoth the Raven nevermore.
That was one that they did.
I imagine that.
They did Black Cat.
Telltale Heart.
Yes. Which is probably my favorite because I've always connected with it because that would totally be me.
The guilt.
My anxiety, no, not the guilt, I don't think. The anxiety of them finding it. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and tell them because I can't.
Yeah.
And they're going to find out eventually. So
That's why I'll never commit a crime with Nicole.
yeah. It
She
wouldn't be
will
the guilt.
squeal.
It's, no, I would never squeal on you, but
They would break you easy.
I'm glad you know that about
Yep,
me.
I already do.
Okay.
I am impossible to break.
But I was going to
luck.
say, if I ever kill anybody, I am
I
a
mean,
million
I am
percent
your
having
man.
you.
I can lock it down forever.
Yeah. And I know that.
That's the Italian side of me.
Uh-huh.
There's no rat here.
Yeah. So let's see. Telltale Heart, The Raven, Black Cat. Oh, and Mask of the Red Death.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they were really, really good. And my favorite drink was a bourbon with cream, cinnamon. It had an anise star in it. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
I can't do whiskey.
Yeah, it was really, really fun though. We had an absolute blast. And then yesterday I went all the way to Philly to go to a Phillies game, and it got postponed till today. So we did go to Reading Terminal Market.
I saw on Facebook.
And we had lunch and moseyed around and came back home. And then the game's being replayed tonight,
Yeah.
but all three of us were like, me. Like, maybe if it wasn't cold and rainy again
It's
today.
Terrible day.
Yeah. If it was a bright sunny day, maybe we would have tried to make it work. But really, it's funny, like, I'm old now. Yesterday was enough.
I
I
know.
can't drive to Philly again. 2 days in a row. Are you crazy?
Girl, I hear you. My mom was always like, "Oh, I really missed the season tickets," and I'm like, I miss going to the game. I do not miss the 3-hour drive at 1:00 in the morning. I do
For
not miss
every home game.
Yes, I don't miss the walking 7.5 miles to the stadium. I
Yes.
do not miss sitting out in the freezing freaking ass cold or the blazing ass heat.
Yes.
I do not miss any of that. I do. If I could just teleport there and then teleport back, yes. But that drive to Philly is just, especially for like a night game. And then on top of it, the night games are just so rowdy and so, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And she has the benefit of just sitting there, so she doesn't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
She does teleport from there. So
Yeah, exactly.
no, I can't. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's too much, especially 8 games a year. I mean,
It
that's
is.
a lot.
I mean, the older you get, the better it is on TV.
Yeah, it really is.
You can see everything.
Yeah,
They replay it if you
and
miss
now
it.
with the with you're closer on your TV than you are in real life. And
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just a terrible fan, but can't do it.
You did your time.
I did 25 years. I did my time.
Yeah.
Ended one stadium, opened another. No more. Can't do it. Too old. Was that all you had for this week?
The only other thing I wanted to say was happy belated Mother's Day to everyone. I had a really nice day, just relaxed. I heard from all of my kids. My son lives in California, so I couldn't see him. My middle daughter and her husband came over and cooked me dinner. And my youngest works in a restaurant, so she had to work all day.
Yes.
Because it's Mother's
Day.
Day. Oh my God, it was awful. She was sending me texts. I was like, oh, I do not miss working Mother's Day in a restaurant.
No.
But she door dashed me a box of insomnia cookies. Because I guess that's what the 22-year-olds are doing now.
They DoorDash. You know what? I was DoorDashing on Sunday, and it was nothing but going to Food Lion and picking up flowers.
Oh.
And I was going to start doing those, and then on the Facebook page for people, I was reading it, and they were like, don't do the shopping. Or there's no flowers left. It's a pain in the ass. You got to pick through crap. It takes too long. And I was like, alrighty then. That will not be happening for me. But, I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, at this point,
I just never really thought of it. Like I heard, or my ring let me know somebody was at the front door, and I was
Yeah.
like, Did somebody send me flowers?
That was another thing. Florist shops. You could pick up at florists too. Yeah. And DoorDash it. I don't know. It's crazy. I grew weary of it real quick. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go sit in my house.
Yeah.
By myself. Just stare at the TV because
it's your favorite thing to do.
it really is. I did get a happy Mother's Day from my stepdaughter. So a happy Momster Day.
Oh,
Yes. Because she calls me Step Monster.
that is so sweet.
I'm her. I asked her to call me that at first, and she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "I mean, would you expect anything different from me?" And she was like, "Nope." So I'm her stepmomster. But so I did get a happy Mother's Day from her.
That was very kind.
Yes. The dogs didn't. The bird didn't. Ungrateful bitches.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, let us first, before I say what I'm going to say, I did not tell her until a half an hour ago what the subject was.
I'm so excited.
She doesn't ever read it anyway, so I don't know. I don't even know why I bothered sending anything. So let's fuck around and find out about Mount St. Helens. Because Heather loves a disaster. My sources are usgs.gov and visit mountsthelens.com. Both are really good sites and really informative. I so badly want to go. Those of you that live out there that listen, I want to come out. I want to see it. So Mount St. Helens, it was 8,364 feet currently. Well, actually not currently, but 9,677 feet before it erupted. It's located in southwestern Washington, about 50 miles northeast of Portland, Oregon. Also, I want to go to Portland. It's one of several lofty volcanic peaks that dominate the Cascade Range of the Pacific Northwest. Geologists call Mount St. Helens a composite volcano or stratovolcano, a term for a steep-sided, often symmetrical cone constructed of alternating layers of lava flows, ash, and other volcanic debris. Composite volcanoes tend to erupt explosively and pose considerable danger to nearby life and property. In contrast, the gentle sloping shield volcanoes, such as those in Hawaii, typically erupt non-explosively, producing fluid lavas that can flow great distances from the active vents.
I don't think I really realized that.
I did not either.
It just never really occurred to me.
Me either. And so when I was learning about it, I was like, that makes total sense.
It does make sense. Like, I wonder if Pompeii was a cone.
I don't know. I didn't look it up. It had to have been because it sent ash everywhere.
Yeah.
And
it was fast.
Yes. From my understanding, when it's a cone, I guess it doesn't have a vent, so it blows, as your husband said earlier. God.
I can't believe you're going to give
I am. I'm giving him credit. It's an earth zit. But the ones in Hawaii, like, you can fly over them and see down in them. So, and they're always like spewing lava and stuff.
Yeah.
They're just a constant vent, I guess. And this one's not.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I never thought about it either. And then when I was doing this, I was like, oh, you know what? How about that? Now I know something about volcanoes. The ones in Hawaii may destroy property, but they rarely cause death or injury because they're so slow. Not slow, but you know it's coming.
Right.
Mount St. Helens and other active Cascade volcanoes and those of Alaska comprise the North American segment of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a notorious zone that produces frequent, often destructive earthquake volcanic activity. I have always loved that phrase, the Ring of Fire.
Yes.
For that.
Yes.
The whole Pacific.
Yes. Somebody really nailed it when they
named
it.
Really did. It was probably natives.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
For sure.
Mount St. Helens is the youngest of the major Cascade volcanoes in the sense that its visible cone was entirely formed during the past 2,200 years, well after the melting of the last of the Ice Age glaciers about 10,000 years ago. Mount St. Helens' smooth, symmetrical slopes are little affected by erosion as compared with its older, more glacially scarred neighbors, Mount Rainier and Mount Adams in Washington and Mount Hood in Oregon. The local indigenous people and early settlers in the then sparsely populated region witnessed the occasional violent outbursts of Mount St. Helens. The most recent of the pre-1980 eruptive activity began in 1800 with an explosive eruption followed by several additional minor explosions and extrusions of lava, and ended with the formation of the Goat Rocks lava dome by 1857.
Cool.
So now I'm going to give you the history. 300,000 years ago. We're going to go back in time. The stratovolcano known as Mount St. Helens, God damn it, I wrote this phonetically down there. Lutoleta, formed when the Juan de Fuco tectonic plates subducted under the North American one. So that's, of course, how all mountain ranges are formed, where they bump plates.
Yes.
And that's earthquakes and all that happy geological shit. So if you're a geologist, maybe turn this off. It's not going to be good for you. You're going to be screaming at us. 1850 BCE, which I did not realize that we were now doing BCE, which is before the Common Era.
I had heard that.
I knew we had changed it and it was no longer before Christ, which is what BC was before, right?
Right.
Yeah. We're not doing that anymore.
Right.
So now it's BC.
Supposedly.
Right.
I don't see a big
the
push to make
the Mount St. Helens website uses BCE.
good for them.
So that is before the Common Era. The volcano experiences what scientists consider its biggest eruption ever. Of 5 to 10 cubic kilometers of material, about 5 to 10 times bigger than 1980. 1000 BCE, a series of lava flows begin to form the edifice we now know as Mount St. Helens, making the peak younger than the Great Pyramids of Giza.
Wow.
I know. And it's so crazy when you think about this shit and you're like, hold on, what?
It's so hard to wrap your head around.
It really is. Like, it's just... You're like that, but that's been there forever. No, that's crazy. 1792. Explorer George Vancouver names the peak after fellow Brit Alian Fitzherbert Baron St. Helens.
Sure.
But the local Native American tribe, the Cowlitz tribe, had long called it Luleta or Smoker. In the 50s,
much better name.
Yes, 100%. In the 50s through the 70s, they kind of just jammed that all together. There must not have been a whole lot of shit happening in those years, or no one cared. Spirit Lake at the foot of the mountain becomes a camping and fishing destination lined with cabins, a YMCA camp, and Mount St. Helens Lodge, run by a colorful World War I vet, Harry Truman. No. Not that Harry Truman, because I fell for it for a second. It's a different Harry Truman, and we'll talk about him later. 1975, the U.S. Geological Survey geologists forecasted that Mount St. Helens would erupt again, possibly before the end of the century.
Okay.
Foreshadowing. In the spring of 1980, geologists converge on Vancouver, Washington, including 30-year-old U.S. Geology Survey volcanologist and University of Washington PhD grad, David A. Johnston. He showed up because no one's ever been able to study an eruption like this up close before.
There's a reason for that.
Also foreshadowing. He did not. He might have seen it up close, but
he didn't.
He didn't live to tell about it. So, March 1980, magnitude 4.1 earthquake signals a reawakening, eruption of ash and steam. March 16th is the first sign of activity. 100 earthquakes in a week. I know. I don't know about you people up there. I know you get earthquakes, and I can't even imagine a fucking earthquake.
How do you even know when one ends and one starts again?
100 in a week? I don't know. That's scary. When I went to Alaska, I was like, please do not have an earthquake. I don't know why I'm so fucking scared of earthquakes, but...
Oh, I was in an earthquake in San Francisco.
No, thank you.
Yeah, when I went out there, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago. 10 more than that. Anyway, we were staying in like a high-rise hotel in the middle of the city, and I was in the shower, and my youngest daughter was in bed still sleeping, and I felt a rump. Like, I thought it was somebody pushing a cleaning cart or something down the hallway. Like, it was rumbled like that. And then I got out of the shower, and all over the news, we had just had an earthquake, and like stuff fell off the shelves and stuff. Like, it was strong enough for that. In stores and things like that, nothing fell in our hotel room, I don't think.
We had that one here.
Yeah.
That cracked the Washington Monument in DC. Gave it a little. I didn't feel that. I don't know why. I was at the restaurant. I don't know if because of the floors. I don't know, but I was like the only one that didn't notice it. I
was driving, but I was lucky that I was at a stop sign, because I was sitting at a stop sign, and I, honest to God, thought somebody had run up and was jumping up and down on my back bumper. And I'm looking all in the mirrors, and there's nothing there. And I was like, "What was that?"
Ghosts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why earthquakes bother me so much.
It's scary.
It is. I mean, I guess because it's not something you're familiar. I'm sure if you live over there and you've experienced them a million times in your life, then you probably are more scared of a hurricane, or although tornadoes is like the worst.
The worst. There's no way I could live.
I'm never going. Sorry, guys who live in Tornado Alley. I could not do it. But again, I guess if you grow up there,
I guess.
So for them, probably, it's it runs over your house in like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whereas a hurricane is like a good sustained 4 or 5 hours of wind.
Yeah, true.
I get. Well, we don't get that here, so we don't get the big hurricanes here.
No.
So we actually don't have. I'll stop saying that because we'll get a tsunami tomorrow. I'll be at work floating around in a mail truck. Because I'm pretty sure that would float. Okay, so that was March the 100 earthquakes in a week. March 24th, 20 earthquakes in an hour. So I don't know how you would not know it was all the same earthquake.
Right.
March 27th, a 250-foot crater opened. Ooh. March 28th, 12 more eruptions. March 30th, 93 explosions in one day. So if you don't see this coming,
right,
like, okay, come on now. Because I remember it. When I did the research on it, it was way different than what I actually remembered it in my brain. Because I thought it just, like, I knew that they had warning because I'll talk about the docudrama later, but I've seen that a couple times. And I knew they knew it was coming and they told people, but it was like nobody believed it. But when researching it, I feel like it was a lot less dramatic. Right. I mean, people died.
Right.
People die in every
disaster.
Yeah. The hurricane takes 4 days to get here, and they tell everybody to get out of the bowl that they're living in because it's going to fill with water.
Yeah.
People died. So, you can't. Anyway. Sorry, New Orleans.
You did warn us that you've been angry all week.
Don't get me. Look, I am going to do Katrina because I have to get it out of my brain. Katrina Katrina. I don't know what the word for it is just, I cannot ever stop thinking about Katrina.
Okay.
Ever. There's one person in particular in the whole Katrina nonsense that haunts me. I mean, haunts me. His name is Hardy Jackson. He haunts me. I can never get the images of Katrina the whole way. The whole thing was just fucking blown. And it just, Katrina. Yeah. So prepare yourselves because I'm going to be angry on that one. April 1st, 1980, plumes of ash and steam reach 20,000 feet. See, again, I don't remember any. I just remember it blowing.
Well, you would have been 5.
I know, but I remember a lot.
That's true.
I might have been living in a van. No, I was in school by then. Yeah. Think, yeah, it would have been cool. April 3rd, the crater grew to about 1,300 feet in diameter. April 8th, explosions last 4 hours. The longest yet. Like 4 hour again. 4 hours of explosions. You got to think to yourself, yeah, this bitch is going to blow.
Yeah.
But
you're just down there watching your stories, eating your lunch.
You know, you're getting 100 in a day. And
well, probably part of the problem is you don't know when. And it's happening gradually and slowly. Like when a wildfire's coming at your house and your tires are melting on your car, you know, you got to go.
It's time to go. April 22nd, eruption average drops to 1 per day from 1 per hour.
See, that's when you got to worry.
She's
prepping.
Yeah. In some point in April, it didn't give a date. Officials designate red, which is dangerous, and blue, which is permitted workers only, zones around the mountain, and most residents are evacuated. So in April, they're like, "Oh yeah, this shit's gonna go. This is going to be a problem." May 7th to May 17th, small eruptions resume. More than 10,000 occurred, and the north flank grew outward 450 feet to form a prominent bulge growing 6.5 feet a day. This was evidence that magma had risen high into the volcano. Also, it is the Earth sit. I love it. I don't care. May 18th, 1980, at 8:30 a.m., an earthquake with a magnitude of 5.1 on the Richter scale triggered a gigantic landslide on the mountain's north face. The north slope fell away in an avalanche, the largest debris avalanche ever recorded, that was followed and overtaken by a lateral air blast, which carried a high-velocity cloud of superheated ash and stone outward some 15 miles from the volcano's summit. The blast reached temperatures of 660 degrees Fahrenheit and speeds of at least 300 miles per hour. By the way,
so this blasted 15 miles. It didn't travel the ground.
No, that's the air and the ash.
Okay.
Started and yeah, it blew it. And that's the air. The land, it was, but it wasn't moving quite at 300 miles an hour.
Right.
The avalanche and lateral blast were followed by mud flows, pyroclastic flows, and floods that buried the river valleys around Mount St. Helens in deep layers of mud and debris as far as 17 miles away. So the landslide made it 17 miles.
Wow.
The hot air made it 15. So eventually the landslide beat it. The lateral blast devastated an area nearly 372 square miles. In an inner zone extending 6 miles from the summit, virtually no trees remained of a dense forest. Beyond this area, all standing trees were blown down, and at the blast's outer limits, the remaining trees were seared. Pyroclastic flows poured out of the crater at 50 to 80 miles per hour and spread 5 miles to the north, creating the Pumice Plain. Meanwhile, simultaneous with the blast, a vertical eruption of gas and ash formed a column some 16 miles high that produced ash falls as far as central Montana.
That's crazy.
Complete darkness occurred in Spokane, Washington, about 250 miles northeast of the volcano. La Hers, which I also phonetically spelled out, La Hers, formed when hot rocks and gas melted the snow and ice on the volcano, flowing down river valleys around the volcano.
Oh.
I know. I was like, oh shit, yeah, there's like snow and shit. That's got to go somewhere. The largest and most destructive lahar occurred in the North Fork of the Tuttle River. The lahars destroyed bridges and homes, eventually flowing into the Cowlitz River, which in turn flowed into the Columbia River. 57 people died, largely from asphyxiation, mostly in areas outside the red and blue zones. So,
shows how much they know.
Yeah, they should have probably made those areas wider. Most fishing, camping, and hiking. So, that's where my problem is. Don't do that. Yeah. The eruptive event ends about 9 hours later after a column of ash rises 18 miles in the air and some 1,300 feet of mountain blows off, reducing the height of Mount St. Helens to 8,366 feet. 540 million tons of ash fall in total.
This is so interesting because it's nothing I've ever really thought about before. So all this information is just like, wow.
Like you know it blew.
Uh-huh.
And you know people died.
Right.
And you can watch it.
Right.
On YouTube. They have video of it. You can watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I did. So remember Harry R. Truman from earlier. Mm-hmm. He was born in October of 1896 and died May 18th, 1980. He was an American businessman, bootlegger, and prospector. He lived near Mount St. Helens and was the owner and caretaker of Mount St. Helens Lodge at Spirit Lake near the base of the mountain. Truman came to fame as a folk hero in the weeks leading up to the volcano's eruption after refusing to leave his home despite repeated orders to evacuate. Although Truman was already well known by local residents for his various antics, he became an even bigger celebrity during the 2 months of volcanic activity preceding the deadly eruption. Truman gave several interviews to reporters and expressed his opinion that the danger of a volcanic eruption was exaggerated. I don't have any idea whether it will blow, he said, but I don't believe it to the point that I'm going to pack up. Truman displayed little concern about the volcano and his situation. If the mountain goes, I'm going with it. This area is heavily timbered. Spirit Lake is in between me and the mountain is a mile away. The mountain ain't going to hurt me.
Well, you said it probably didn't hurt.
That's true. I didn't say that yet.
Oh.
I didn't get that.
Foreshadowing.
Spoiler alert. Law enforcement and Forest Service officials were frustrated by his refusal to evacuate because the media continued to enter the volcano's restricted zone to interview him, endangering themselves in the process. Still, Truman remained steadfast. You couldn't pull me out with the mule team. The mountain's part of Truman, and Truman's part of that mountain.
That's right.
He told reporters that he was knocked from his bed by precursor earthquakes, so he responded by moving his bed to the basement.
He was a, what's the word I'm looking for? Problem solver, I guess. That was
he problem solved. Your damn earthquakes keep knocking me out of bed. I'm gonna move my bed to the basement under the earth. He claimed to wear spurs to bed to cope with the earthquake while he slept.
It held him in the bed.
So he rode it like a horse. He was quite. You can look up a lot of his stuff too.
Yeah,
he was the salt of the earth. He scoffed at the public's concern for his safety, responding to scientists' claim about the threat of the volcano that the mountain had shot its wad and it hadn't hurt my place a bit. But those goddamn geologists with their hair down to their butts wouldn't pay no attention to old Truman.
Goddamn hippies.
Yeah. As a result of his defiant commentary, Truman became an impromptu folk hero and was the subject of many songs and poems by children.
Really?
This is just 2 months. Like literally, it's like March to May. That's
wow.
Yeah. He is the OG influencer.
He literally went out in a ball of fire.
He literally had 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
One group of school children from Salem, Oregon sent him banners inscribed, "Harry, we love you," which moved him so much that he took a helicopter trip arranged and paid for by National Geographic to visit them on May 14th.
Aww.
He also received many fan letters, including several marriage proposals. A group of 5th grade students from Grand Blanc, Michigan, wrote letters that brought him to tears. In return, he sent them a letter and volcanic ash, which the children later sold to send flowers to his family after the eruption.
That had to have been so traumatizing for those kids.
Yes.
Like you just met this man 4 days ago.
Yes.
And he's your hero.
Yes.
And now he's dead.
Gone.
It's like the Challenger.
I know. So to that, I don't know if you're not on the Tickety Talk. So there's apparently some influencer or someone going around saying that we're all lying about the Challenger, that we didn't sit in class and watch it happen, and then they just wheeled it out and we went on about our day. The whole lot of us, all of everyone who has the exact same story. We all must have gotten together pre-influence, pre-internet.
Do they know there's video? Like actual video of kids sitting in
classrooms and, Google is your friend. Truman caused a media frenzy, appearing on the front pages of the New York Times and the San Francisco Examiner and attracting the attention of National Geographic, United Press International, and the Today Show. Many major magazines composed profiles, including Time, Life, Newsweek, Field and Stream, and Reader's Digest. I fucking love Reader's Digest. I know we've talked about Reader's Digest before.
That was my favorite.
Me too. It's
from a very early age.
Oh,
I think the comedic little paragraphs were my favorite. The funny little short stories.
Yeah. Love Reader's Digest. Okay.
Yeah.
Historian Richard W. Slatta wrote that his fiery attitude, brash speech, love of the outdoors, and fierce independence made him a folk hero the media could adore. He pointed to Truman's unbendable character and response to the force of nature as a source of his rise to fame, and the interviews with him added color to reports about the events at Mount St. Helens. Truman was immortalized, according to Slatta, with many of the embellished qualities of the Western hero, and the media spotlight created a persona that was in some ways quite different from his true character. Spoiler alert, he died. As the likelihood of a major eruption increased, staff officials ordered an evacuation of that area, with the exception of a few scientists and security officials. On Saturday, May 17th, local law enforcement made one final attempt to persuade Truman to leave his home, to no avail. On Sunday, May 18th, which May 18th this year is on a Sunday also.
Oh, yeah.
It's the 45th anniversary. I don't think they call it an anniversary. What do they call it?
Well, what do they call 9/11?
I don't know. I don't remember. That was terrible. That was a terrible joke. That was awful. Too soon. 22, 3, 4 years later. However long it's been. Anyway. On Sunday, May 18th at 8:32, Mount St. Helens erupted, collapsing the entire north flank of the mountain. Truman and all of his 16 cats were all presumed to have died in the eruption.
No,
yes.
Not the cats.
All 16 of his cats. He had 16 cats. I thought I put that in there, but I might have deleted it out because I don't know what I thought. Truman and his 16 were all presumed to have died in the eruption. All likely died of heat shock in less than a second, too quickly to register the pain. So that's good news.
It is good.
And he was really old. I don't know about the cats. They probably weren't old, but...
Yeah, I mean, I know it's cliche, but talk about dying doing what you love. Like,
that's a true story.
He had the museum and everything.
And he had the inn at the bottom, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What else was he going to do? Go live somewhere else?
Exactly. I mean... I think probably when you get that old, you're just like, well, I got to die of something. So
right.
Sounds good to me. It's going to go quick.
Yeah.
It's better than a long drawn out cancer like I'm going to have. The largest landslide in recorded history and pyroclastic flow traveling atop the landslide engulfed the Spirit Lake area almost simultaneously, destroying the lake and burying the site of Truman's Lodge under 150 feet of volcanic landslide debris. Authorities never searched for Truman's remains. Truman considered his cats family and mentioned them in almost all public statements. I thought about his cats, I forgot. Initially, Truman's friends hoped that he possibly survived, as he had claimed to have provisioned a nearby abandoned mine shaft with food and liquor in case of an eruption. But the lack of any immediate warning of the eruption would almost certainly have prevented him from escaping to the shaft before the flow reached his lodge, less than a minute after the eruption began. Even if Truman had made it there, the landslide would have made any rescue impossible. Truman's sister, Geraldine, said that she found it hard to accept the reality of his death. I don't think he made it, but I thought if they would let me fly over and see for myself that Harry's lodge is gone, then maybe I'd believe it for sure. Truman's niece, Shirley Rosen, added that her uncle thought he could escape the volcano, but was not expecting the lateral eruption. She stated that her sister took him a bottle of bourbon whiskey to persuade him to evacuate, but he was too afraid to drink the alcohol at the time because he was unsure whether the shaking was coming from his body or the earthquake.
So she brought him the whiskey to try to get him to leave?
Yes.
But then she just left the whiskey there with him? Like, why didn't she hold it and walk backwards towards the car and be like, come and get it?
I don't know. Little shots on the
Throw
ground.
it in the car, and when he jumps in for it.
Just lock the door. No, we're just going to the liquor store. Come on. Truman owned a second home located between Washogal and Stevenson, Washington. Sorry if I just fucked that up. Washogal? And his possessions were auctioned off there as keepsakes to admirers in September of 1980.
All right, I didn't know that he had another house.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna say he was ready to go.
He was ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Truman's friend John Garrity added, the mountain and the lake were his life. If he'd left and saw what the mountain did to his lake, it would have killed him anyway.
Yep.
He always said he wanted to die at Spirit Lake. He went the way he wanted to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Truman's niece, Shirley, stated he used to say, that's my mountain and my lake. And he would say, those are my arms and my legs. And she also said if he would have seen it the way it is now, I don't think he would have survived.
Mm-hmm.
And his cousin, Richard Ice, commented that Truman's short period as a celebrity was the peak of his life.
Aww.
Truman was the subject of the books Truman of St. Helens, The Man and His Mountain, written by his niece, and The Legend of Harry Truman, written by his sister. He was portrayed by Art Carney, his favorite actor, in the 1981 docudrama St. Helens. Memorabilia was sold in the area surrounding Mount St. Helens, including Harry Truman hats, pictures, posters, and postcards, because capitalism rules.
Man, they didn't waste any time getting that docuseries out either.
No, I know. I thought when I was like, really? It was that fucking fast? Damn.
That's like Netflix speed.
Right? A restaurant named after him was opened in Anchorage, Alaska, serving themed dishes such as Harry's Hot Molten Chili. According to the Washington Star, more than 100 songs had been composed in Truman's honor by 1981.
100?
100. In addition to a commemorative album entitled The Musical Legend of Harry Truman, a very special collection of Mount St. Helens volcanic songs, which seems like so long of a title of an album.
It really is.
Lulabelle Garland wrote The Legend of Harry and the Mountain, which was recorded in 1980 by Ron Shaw and the Desert Wind Band. Musicians Ron Allen and Stephen Asplin wrote a country rock song in 1980 called Harry Truman, Your Spirit Still Lives On. One of the major characters from the first two seasons of the TV show Twin Peaks was named Sheriff Harry S. Truman in his honor. Billy Jonas included Truman's narrative in his song Old St. Helen in 1993, and he is the subject of the 2007 song Harry Truman, written and recorded by Irish band Headgear.
Interesting.
Now you know the rest of the story. Truman Trail and Harry's Ridge in the Mount St. Helens region were named after him. The Harry R. Truman Memorial Park was named in his honor in Castle Rock, Washington, though it later was named Castle Rock Lions Club Volunteer Park. St. Helens is a 1981 I didn't push that down. So yeah, I think it's great that this Harry Truman guy got it's kind of sad that the 56 other people did not get this much recognition, but I'm sure their name's on a plaque somewhere.
It sounds like he deserved it.
I think so. It's just you got to look him up because he was pretty.
It does sound like folklore, like it's made up.
Yeah, it's a great little.
It is.
So the 1981 made-for-cable HBO television film, which I guess was the Netflix of the 1980s,
Yes,
directed by Ernest Pintoff, and starred David Huffman, Art Carney, Cassie Yates, and Albert Salmi. The film centers on the events leading up to the cataclysmic eruption, with the story beginning on the day volcanic activity started on March 20th and ending on the day of the eruption. The film premiered on May 18th, 1981, on the first anniversary of the eruption. United States Geological Survey volcanist David Jackson, a fictionalized version of David A. Johnson, arrives to investigate the activity. Spoiler alert. He dies. So when I remember, the main thing that sticks out from this, I think we had HBO then, maybe. We were fancy and had HBO. I remember them telling him he had to leave, and he was trying, mostly what I remember, and I meant to find it so I could watch it, and I didn't.
Right.
He's trying to get everybody to leave, and they don't want to leave, which I think is what made me think that it was not just 57. Not that it's not just 57 people at the time, but way bigger of an issue than it was.
Right.
And I just remember like a cabin, and he was in this cabin. I don't know. I meant to watch it again. I didn't. Anyway, that's the summer. Okay, so now it's all done. Bada boom, bada bang. Now we're going to go through since the eruption.
Okay.
Summer of 1980. Small eruptive activity continues through October as geologists get the chance to study a major eruption firsthand. A few visiting from volcano hotspot Hawaii roast a pig on the pyroclastic flow, the scorching hot gas emissions.
That's a very Hawaiian thing to do.
The annual barbecue tradition still continues among the USGS Cascades Volcano Observatory scientists, albeit in someone's backyard. June to October 1980, continuing eruptions destroy a lava dome inside the crater and a new dome forms. September of 1980, Weyerhaeuser Company begins salvaging some of the 62,000 acres of timber and young plantation damaged by the blast. 1982, Congress designates Mount St. Helens as America's first national volcanic monument. I know. That seems like
a monument?
Shouldn't Hawaii have the first? Saying they have a lot more. And they're all volcano, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Hawaii. Screw you, I guess. 2004 to 2008. A 4-year eruption series looks markedly different from its famous 1980 predecessor. Though less intensely dramatic, these events included plumes of ash and lava extrusions that eventually build a dome 1,000 feet high. I remember that. Do you remember that in the early aughts? Remember early when I was like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I put this out of order too. God damn it. So we're going to go back a minute. 1987, Volcano Summit reopened to recreational climbing. And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers builds a dam to hold back sediment carried downstream by the north face of the Tuttle River. In 94, the reconstructed 52-mile-long Spirit Lake Memorial Highway opens to traffic, connecting Castle Rock to stunning viewpoints in the blast zone. September 23, 2004, the mountain stirs with a flurry of earthquakes. October 2nd, 2004, sustained tremors inside the mountain indicate movement of magma. The Forest Service evacuates visitor from the Johnson Ridge Observatory. October 11th, 2004, lava emerges on the crater surface for the first time in 18 years.
Wow.
Yes. January 16th, 2005, a 17-minute explosion eruption destroys instruments inside the crater. March 8th, 2005.
Hey, it's my birthday.
Yes. The mountains, when I was writing that, I was like, hey, that's Nicole's birthday.
And by the way, I did say when I drove past Crozier,
it's still there. Right?
I was like, oh, there's what used to be where Heather was born.
That's the sad bones of where Heather was born. Also, Jesus, the skeleton. Man, I'm surprised it didn't close the day after I was born.
No, it's closed.
I know. I'm saying
Oh.
I sucked the soul straight out of it. When I was born, they were like, "Oh man, some kind of portal from hell opened up in this bitch. We better shut it down." I don't have a portal to hell yet. March 8th, 2005, Nicole's birthday. The mountain sends ash and steam to an altitude of 36,000 feet, wowing spectators just before sunset. That I remember that. I can't believe you don't remember it because it was on your birthday. I mean, if a volcano erupted on my birthday, I would be like, "Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's the portal to hell I speak of." Early 2008, dome building slows to a halt and seismic activity drops. July 13th, 2008, scientists declare that the 2004 to 2008 eruption has ended after building a new 125 million cubic yard lava dome.
Ooh.
2020, Mount St. Helens has rebuilt about 7% of the mass it lost in the explosive 80 eruption. So, fun facts. I know you love my fun.
I love
It
them.
was really hard to find fun facts.
And this story has been fun facts
Oh, good.
the whole way through. So
Fun fact. I'm going to name it fun fact. I'm going to have to start calling. When I was doing it, I was like, I should start calling it not so fun facts. When it's a disaster. Although these are... Anyway. The volcanic ash cloud drifted east across the United States in 3 days and encircled Earth in 15 days.
get out.
You would think we would remember that because we get the goddamn smoke from New Jersey all the
Right.
time and the smoke from Canada all the
Yeah.
time. You would think.
So would people have seen it as it passed? Would they have been like, "Oh, there it goes"?
No, I think it would have just... No.
Okay.
I think it's probably way up there.
Yeah.
It just... I don't know. I don't remember. I was little. So La Hare's volcanic mud flows filled rivers with rock, sand, and mud, damaging 27 bridges and 200 homes and forcing 31 ships to remain in port upstream
Wow.
permanently.
Permanently?
I cut them off.
Oh, wow.
Was the most economically destructive volcanic event in U.S. history. Small plants and trees beneath winter snow and roots protected by soil survived the eruption and now thrive.
Wow.
Thousands of birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and millions of hatching fingerlings perished in the eruption.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, that's going to happen.
That's a not so fun fact.
That's not so fun fact. In late May, wind-dispersed spiders and scavenging beetles were among the first animals to return to the Mount St. Helens area.
Of course.
Which is what is like the most crazy thing. Like, okay, we know I don't believe in God.
Right.
Whatever you want to believe in with the Mother Nature, I don't know how much of it, but goddamn, wind was blowing spiders and scavenging beetles to the area. It's just like insane how like I don't remember what plant it is. It's some plant that grows in like forest fiery areas.
Okay.
The only way it reproduces is by fire. Yeah. Like the pod has to be lit on fire for it to pop to make more. So it's like,
Earth is crazy.
right? It's just insane.
Yeah.
So the wind blows in spiders and beetles and then boom, life begins again. It's I don't know. That's that part. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't believe in any of that, that's the one where you're just like, I mean, obviously somebody knows what they're doing here
Yes.
for that crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The landscape devastated by the eruption has evolved into a rich and diverse habitat for plants and animals. Effects of the eruption continue today. Biologists help wild salmon and steelhead by giving them a tank truck ride to the pristine clear creeks above sediment-choked rivers.
Ooh.
I know. Now I need to go at whenever salmon run.
Yeah.
So I guess that's not so much like, but they would have found a way without. See, here's what's what. So would they have found a way around on their own, or did Mother Nature make people to do it as their way around?
Very interesting. She's probably like, that was a failed experiment.
Terrible idea. They're burning more gas than they're saving anything in their tanker trucks. These poor fish have no idea what is happening. I feel like they got abducted by aliens. Since 1986, snow and rock accumulating in the deep shaded crater formed Crater Glacier, the youngest glacier on Earth. October 2004 to January 2008, growing lava domes displaced and then divided Crater Glacier into east and west lobes. The ice lobes moved downslope as fast as 6 feet per day, converging below the lava dome a little more than 3 years later. During the 2004 to 2008 eruptions, Mount St. Helens settled 1/2 inch due to magma withdrawing beneath the volcano. The Global Positioning System, GPS, instrument that detected the settling of Mount St. Helens can detect movement of as little as 1/16 of an inch and uses less power than a refrigerator light bulb.
I was thinking that it's nuts that they have an instrument. Like, where are you even measuring from to say it was 1/2 inch? Like, where is the bottom?
Right? I don't know. But so that GPS can tell if it's 1/16 of an inch. Meanwhile, Google Maps can't figure out that there's not a street that I can't drive through and off the side of the bridge. Which is what it wanted me to do for the longest time. Anytime I went over the Bay Bridge. Just in the middle of it would be like, turn left. And I'm like, no. That's maybe it was just reading my because that's my issue with bridges. Like, I feel like I'm just going to jump off one.
Or it was that portal to hell you were talking about. That's where it was.
It's a thing, though. What do they call it? It's called the Call of the Void. And people actually it is an actual thing, because I looked it up. Or I saw it somewhere, and then I was like, hold on, wait. Like, I have an overwhelming urge. I had it just the other day. Normally, I don't have it on the Indian River Bridge, but the other day I was like my intrusive thoughts trying to take over. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to drive off the side of this bridge. I got into the left lane so that didn't happen. Plus, I don't think I would make it over the side, but either way. I got dizzy. It's like a whole thing comes over me, and I get like my tunnel vision, and it's just like, just go over the side. And it's not depression or anything. It's not like suicidal. It's called the call of the void.
I have, like, that is my fear, is that for whatever reason I'm going to drive off the side of the bridge.
You're just gonna
and it's gonna be like a tick, or like my arm jerks, and
that's called normal people don't have that. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, that's not an everybody thing.
That's so funny. Before I got put on Lexapro and I was telling my doctor all my intrusive thoughts, she literally said that to me. Normal people don't think like that, right? Like, when I told her that I feel like every single car driving in the other lane but towards me I'm gonna be in a head-on collision, like every one of them. That's when she was like, normal people don't think that, right?
Not a normal thing.
I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Thanks.
Are you sure?
But yeah, speaking of horrible bridges, though, I had to drive that Philly Bridge yesterday, the double-decker.
That one, I don't feel like I'm going to drive off of it, but I just know that top's coming down.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. That's the scary part, is being on that bottom one.
Yeah.
Because the top one is so high that even you can't see over. So you can convince yourself you're just on a road.
It's like, what, 3 lanes, 4 lanes?
Yes. Yeah. So you can just act like you're on a highway.
Yeah.
But then somewhere I don't know if it's right at the peak, but they put that very little bit of bridge over top of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Because now I feel like I'm on a bridge. Like, I was okay until that.
That's why I know there are shows, there are services. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge, it is a well-known fact that people are petrified of that bridge. It's the curve for me. It's too high. It's just too high.
Why is it so high?
Because boats go under it. Why didn't you just build a tunnel? Anyway, it's 3 miles long. Bridges should not be. I mean, I get.
And literally the railing is like knee high. Like it's not holding anything.
Going west is the worst. Coming back east isn't as bad because and then when you're going over and it's busy coming back the other way and you got 2 lanes going one way and the 1 lane coming the other way and you're like, this is just this is terrible. That is horrible.
Awful. Like because you're definitely going over.
Yes.
Like it's so scary. And it really is. And I almost wonder, like, is that intentional? Because cars go, especially tractor trailers, go over the side of that more often than they should. And is it because they don't want to have to deal with like closing it down and getting cars off? So just go ahead and go off the side.
Like gravity
and we can just sweep a little bit and keep people moving.
Nothing to see here. But coming back is not as bad. I can deal with it coming back. The walls are higher.
Yeah.
It's only 2 lanes and it's not as high.
Yeah.
It's much better.
Yeah.
If you ever travel to the East Coast and you need to go from the eastern shore of Maryland over to don't. It's awful.
Yeah.
They have you can literally pay someone to drive you.
Yeah.
I have not done that, but
and they should have a ferry terminal there. It should be an option.
Well, that's the problem. They used to have a ferry and I guess it wasn't, I don't know why they got rid of the ferry, but I would definitely take a ferry.
Oh yeah.
I would 100% take a ferry.
Oh yeah. Just count in an extra hour for your trip.
And then every time you see a boat there, and now after the bridge collapse, we went over. What bridge did I go over that there was? Oh, you know what other bridge I don't like? The Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. I will not go in that tunnel if there's a boat coming. I'll just wait. I'm not doing it.
My mom is terrified of tunnels, and we took that bridge down when we went to Virginia Beach in March, and it's a little unnerving. Like you just can't think about it. But then you think about movies where you've seen movies where boats hit the side of a tunnel.
My father is the reason I know this is going to come as a huge surprise to you, but my father is the reason I hate that. Every time, so we would have to take it every time to go to Florida. Mm-hmm. Every fucking time we would go through it. See, and when we were older, we would leave to go to Disney and Florida and stuff. We would leave at like 9:00 at night. It only takes 2 hours to get to the tunnel. So we'd still be awake because I guess they didn't drug us enough. And the whole fucking time in the tunnel, he'd be like, "You see that water dripping? Is that water? Is that a crack?" And I'd be like, "Just get us out of here." And it's just 2 lanes in there, and it's oh god. I will not go over it if there's a boat. I'll wait. I'll pull over. Fuck that shit. And if it's storming and the waves, it crashes right up onto it. Have you ever been in it when it's been
I don't think I've ever been on that bridge in a storm. I feel like anytime I've ever gone, it's always sunny.
I've been in it one time where we were one of the last groups over where they shut it down behind them.
Oh my God.
And the water, it's not so much the water is not coming, but I guess the wind is blowing it up. And so it's like spraying your car the whole. Nope.
Oh my goodness. It is super cool though when you're on the bridge and you look out and then there's bridge and then there's no bridge and then there's bridge again.
It's not a terrible bridge because it's short. It's not very tall.
Correct. And it has proper sides.
And it has proper sides. And it's not tall.
It just has tunnels.
It just has tunnels. And it's very long. Mm-hmm. It's 14 miles.
Yeah.
So you're on it for
ever.
Yeah. Okay. Not so much. We're going back to the West Coast here. During the 1980 to 1986 and the 2004 to 2008 eruptions, lava oozed into the crater floor, building domes taller than the Empire State Building and restoring 7% of the volume lost in 1980.
Whoa.
St. Helens remains a world-famous natural laboratory for the study of Earth's processes and also nature's response to catastrophe. Mount St. Helens and its neighbor Mount Adams are known as brother and sister mountains. The 2 volcanoes are 34 miles apart. Before the 80 eruption, Mount St. Helens had 11 named glaciers. Lewitt, Wishbone, Leshy, Forsyth, Ape Shoestring, Nelson, Tuttle, Tallis, Swift, and Dreyer. After the eruption, only Shoestring partially survived.
I thought you were going to say ape shit.
I thought I was going to too. I didn't. I got it out without it.
That would be an awesome volcano name, though.
When Mount St. Helens erupted, the resulting lava, ash, and debris turned the landscape barren for miles around. It was clear the land would take a long time to recover from the eruption. Here's my favorite fun fact. I know. I told you.
I didn't know we had more fun facts.
I told her I wasn't going to keep one. I had a really good one. And I was saving it. I did refuse to tell her what it was.
Yes.
One team of scientists had an idea about how they could help speed up the process. Sending a few gophers there on a day trip. On a destroyed landscape, scientists wondered how life could be restored, so they brought in gophers to dig around in specific areas for one single day. Now, more than 4 decades later, the benefits from those 24 hours remain visible. Allen and others published a paper in early November in Frontiers in Microbiomes, suggesting the gophers played a key role in restoring fungi and bacteria in the soil, and the health of the gopher-inhabited areas stood in stark contrast to areas where the gophers had never been. In 1983, when Allen and other scientists flew in by helicopter to an area devastated by lava, they found only about a dozen plants surviving there. Even the seeds that birds had dropped in the area were struggling to grow. In the experiment, they airlifted local gophers, known as northern pocket gophers, to 2 enclosed pumice plots for just one day. The scientists only planned to test the short-term chain reaction of the stocky rodents' activities. Oh, should put this first because this is Michael Allen. I'm an idiot. This is the guy. Who would have predicted you could toss a gopher in for a day and see residual effects 40 years later? Plant life struggled to return to the area around Mount St. Helens, now under a layer of pumice fragments. While the top layers of soil were destroyed by the eruption and lava flow, the soil underneath could still be rich in bacteria and fungi. Bringing them there was like bringing a mini ecosystem just for a short time. Said a soil microbiologist from University of Connecticut. The scientists hoped the gophers would help restore the ecosystem with their natural digging activities and defecation, which would fertilize and aerate the soil and bring in microorganisms like the bacteria and fungi. Although the burrowing rodents are often considered pests, we thought they would take old soil, move it to the surface, and that would be where recovery would occur.
That is so cool.
Soil microorganisms regulate nutrient cycling, interact with many other organisms, and therefore may support successful pathways and complementary ecosystem functions even in harsh conditions.
That is really, really cool. They were like big hairy earthworms.
Yeah. With the exception of a few weeds, there is no way most plant roots are efficient enough to get all of the nutrients and water they need by themselves. The fungi transport these things to the plant and get the carbon they need for their own growth in exchange. 6 years after the gophers were brought in, the land they hadn't touched remained largely barren, while 40,000 plants grew and thrived in the gopher plots, according to the statement.
What?
That is the ultimate fun fact.
That is
one day.
Just mind-blowing.
The gophers were there one day.
That
and they 40 years later.
Yeah, you just needed to break through that surface.
Just one day. Gophers, who knew? So that's all I had. That's my Mount St. Helens.
That was just amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah. I love learning those things that I would never even, it's, the you don't know what you don't know things.
Yeah.
So when that comes up, it all makes perfect sense when you say it.
I know.
But
because they turned over the land and they brought all that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Gophers.
Cute little gophers.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. You can, first, thanks for listening because I have the script and she does not. So I got she didn't do her part at the top.
I didn't.
Even though she doesn't have the script that doesn't have it on there.
Correct.
So thanks for listening. You can like, share, rate, review, please. And thank you.
Please.
Find us where you listen to podcasts, and there's a little like, share, rate, review little button on all of those things. So thumbs up it.
Please.
Follow us on all the socials at like whatever pod. Go to those, follow it, and then you can just like block it out. Or you can send an email about why gophers are awesome to like whatever pod at gmail.com, or don't, like whatever.
Whatever. Bye.
Bye.